Hi, I'm Effie, and earlier this month I decided to do reading Christmas books for 24 hours, but like a non-consecutive 24 hours. And I had such a good time with it and got multiple 5 stars from that video that I decided I wanted to continue the experience. But partially because I was just curious about how the numbers would compare, and I guess partially a time thing, I decided that I was going to do a reading Christmas books for 24 hours straight video. So that's what this is. So I'm going to kick off this vlog by reading "'Tis the Season for Revenge." I started it the other day. Well, I started a whole heap of Kindle books the other day and got a taste of them. And weirdly enough, it was the one that appealed to me most. Like, reading the blurb, I wouldn't have thought it'd be like my top pick. But then I started reading it and it's giving very much like Legally Blonde energy. And I'm so here for that. So I'm excited and hopefully I continue to enjoy it. I mean, since I'm doing this for like 24 hours non-stop, I'm just gonna DNF if I stop enjoying a book, but I'm pretty excited to dig back in. So we're a little over 6 hours into this reading for 24 hours straight, reading Christmas books specifically for 24 hours straight, and I've just finished my first book. I had meant to give more regular updates, but I was just so captivated by "'Tis the Season for Revenge." I think what makes it work is a combination of things, and that is that she starts out this scheme, plan, whatever, like never with the intention of trying to get her ex back. And I think having that intention makes it, like, obviously it's dishonest, but it makes it feel more honest. There's never this, oh, I'm falling for him, but I still want my ex back. It's all very much like, no, I want my ex to see that I'm worth so much more than you ever gave me credit for. And I think also the way that these two characters, the FMC and then the MMC, are so gone for each other from the moment they meet, and they fit so well. They have mutual respect. They care about what each other cares about. And that just, like, that combination of factors made it a really effective story. I will say that I think there were a few too many sex scenes for my taste. I felt like it broke up the narrative and slowed down the pace at times, but I'm also very aware that that's a highly subjective thing. And I will say the scenes weren't bad, they were fine. I just could have done with maybe like 50% fewer of them, but overall a really satisfying read and very compulsive. And I just had such a good time, and I can't remember what I'm on to next. I'll actually have to check my list, which makes me feel like Santa, like checking my list or something. Let's see. As I par for the course, I check my messages with my best friend because I sent her the list the other day. Okay, so number 2 on the list was Santa is a Slut, which I've already read. So the third book on the list was Hook Up to a Holiday, which I think is like an elf and an orc. And it just seemed like so much fun. And the fact it's sapphic, because we love ourselves a queer holiday romance. And in fact, entries 4 and 5 are also queer, because then we've got Set the Record Straight and Let Your Heart Be Light, which I'm not going to be mad if I somehow manage to get through all of them. Like, Hook Up to Holiday is a novella, but I think Set the Record Straight and Let Your Heart Be Light are full length. Oh, I want to read them all. which is not a feeling I expected. Like, I didn't expect to be like, I'm just desperate to read all of the Christmas books. But that's a good feeling. So it's a little under an hour since I last updated. And whilst I am enjoying Hook Up to a Holiday, sorry, this is a really unflattering angle, but meh. Yeah, what? Whilst I am enjoying it, I'm thinking that the amount of sex scenes that were in 'Tis the Season for Revenge has kind of made me go, I want something a little more closed door. Which I think there is the potential that this book will be. Because, like, there's the whole thing of, like, they can't date. Like, they hook up once and then they're like, oh no, we actually can't, like, get together. It's against the rules. So I think it's going to be a minute until we get more scenes, which is good. Build up the characters. But as you can tell by all the yawning, I am starting to flag a bit. I mean, I should be able to make it to, this late this evening when I'll reach the 24-hour mark. But for the moment, my bed is sounding awfully tempting. This is why I didn't originally plan on doing a 24-hour non-stop vlog. Because I'm only, 7 hours in and I'm already like, oh, this is a lot. But if I look at it from a different angle, I'm almost a third of the way through. And I'm enjoying what I'm reading. Although potentially I will need to switch it up. Because originally I'd picked out all romances and stuff. But if it gets a bit samey, a bit much, I might switch to, I can't even remember what it's called. I'll pop a picture here. But I might switch to an anthology of Christmas horror stories. I mean, maybe I'll do that anyway. Maybe I'll read a couple of those stories after I finish Hook Up to Holiday. Also, I completely forgot, but on my list, I forgot to put in the book One More Gift, and I think I rated that pretty highly. So I think, probably read a few Christmas horror stories after this, but then probably read One More Gift and then move on to whatever's next on the list. So I've officially made it to the 8-hour mark and I need to go to bed. I'm hoping that if I just lie down and read in bed, I'll be able to refresh myself. But I don't know. I can feel my focus flagging and it's like I'm not likely to get much more read sitting up and trying to push myself when I can feel that I'm tired. So I'm hoping I don't fall asleep. But I mean, if I do, I guess that's just realistic. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna lie in bed for a little while and read my book in bed, and hopefully a change of scenery will make me feel more alive or something. I'm not sure how lying in bed is going to make me feel more awake, but it's got to be better than this. So, probably surprising no one at all, within about half an hour of me crawling into my bed, being like, oh yeah, I'll just, hopefully it'll refresh me, I fell asleep. Just could not keep my eyes open. And I ended up asleep for best part of 5 hours. So clearly this video is not going how I planned. But I'm hoping that, with just over 11 hours left to go and having had a sleep
I'm feeling refreshed and ready to, hit the ground running, reinvigorated, and I'll get lots of Christmas books read. I mean, do we think that's really going to happen? Probably not. But at least I shouldn't be struggling and falling asleep for the next 11 hours. Yay. Oh, in terms of my book, I'm still really enjoying Hook Up to Holiday, and I don't know what else to say. It's sweet, it's sapphic, there's a family that doesn't respect. There's a family that doesn't truly respect one of the characters. It's just tickling all the good spots. So I've got about 8.5 hours left to go, if my maths is correct. I'm pretty sure it's correct. And I finished a second book, so I finished Hook Up to Holiday. It was cute, but there was, parental baggage, which always adds a little bit of extra intrigue. I really liked the pairing of Elfborn and Orkling. I thought they worked really well together. I liked the way that in order to be together, the Elfborn had to actually act on one of her dreams rather than conforming to her parents' wants and desires. I thought that was a really cute twist on the whole, we can't be together because of this. And often that leads to, someone having to give up something. But in this case, it was actually someone going for what they really wanted to do with their life. And I enjoyed that. I definitely think I'd like to continue on in the series. Although I am quite intrigued because I think the second book in the series follows the sister of our Elfborn character. And she's not painted in the best light in this book. So I think it'd be interesting to kind of dive into her story and see more about what's going on there. But anyway, on to the next thing. I think I'm going to read one more gift. I think it's going to be a lot of spice and smoke, but I also think it's probably going to be quite enjoyable. I don't know. As always, if I'm not enjoying a book, I'll just DNF and move on to something else. But I'm pretty intrigued to pick it up. So I feel like today's not really gone how I anticipated it would go. I kind of thought firstly, I didn't think I'd fall asleep. And then secondly, I thought I'd make better progress. Also, I was really optimistic that I was really going to vibe with the books. And don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying them, but they're not 5-star read material like in my previous Christmas books video. So, according to my Kindle, I have about 2 hours until I finish one more gift. And I don't know if it's just that this is not the vibe I'm looking for or what, but I'm not completely sold on this book. It's fine, it's enjoyable enough, but I'm not super engaged. So I may end up putting it to one side and picking up the next book on the list, which I think set the record straight. But I don't know. I guess we'll see how it goes. So I finished one more gift. Obviously, I continued it, so I clearly was enjoying it. I think there was a bit more to it than I first expected. I think part of my hesitancy was that it felt like a one and done, one time thing. Oh, sorry, I've got something in my cupboard that looks a bit. Oh no, it's just nuts. Looking naughty. So I thought it was going to be a one and done, and I wasn't sure if I was in the mood for something that was a one and done. But it also included characters exploring their sexuality, and what else? There were some other good elements to it. Oh yeah, and some other things that I'm not going to say in case you want to read it and you feel like it's spoilers. So yeah, basically for a number of reasons, it really, I don't know which hob's which. I always do this. I'm always like, I don't know which hob it is. I know two of the hobs, but then I forget what the other two are. As I was saying, I actually ended up enjoying one more gift, and then there was a little taster for another book by the same author called Can I Tell You Something? I think it's called. And like it's also set around Christmas. And I'm a little bit tempted to pick that up. But I'm also just like, I'm not sure what I'm in the mood for. And I've got like 5 hours? Is it 5 hours? Just under 5 hours left. So, I don't know. But for now, I am making food. We've got sugo, so it's just a case of heating up the sauce and cooking some pasta. We're also going to put some garlic bread on. I say we as if Bee's home right now. But yeah, I'm going to make food and then like continue reading once my food's done and whilst my food's cooking, because it's not exactly an active thing. I just need to physically be in the kitchen to get it started and then I can just chill. So yeah, that's that. And I'll just close the cupboard on you. So I had a bit of like choice paralysis, didn't know what to pick. So I've just ended up picking up Set the Record Straight, which is a sapphic fake dating novella. And like part of what appealed to me is that both of our FMCs are neurodivergent. And like that was just from like the first 7% or whatever I read. That was like, oh, I like that. But like it's really appealing to me as I continue reading it because it's like the polar opposite of miscommunication. These characters are so neurodivergent that they communicate beautifully. They are like open books. Do I think we're going to have like a wee third act breakup, miscommunication? Maybe, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like that kind of book. Like maybe they'll have a breakup or something, although it's short, so often we don't get breakups in the really short ones. But I think the communication is going to stay on point. I also like that, you know, obviously there's nothing wrong with people and characters slowly coming to realise who they are. But I kind of liked how quickly the FMC that thought she was straight was like, oh. And then she kind of just dove straight in with both feet. And I really am enjoying that. I don't know, I'm maybe halfway through, not really sure. But I'm having such a good time with it. And I think if I manage to finish this with time to spare, I think I'm just going to read Slade by Penelope Ward and V. Keeland, because that's a collection of 3 short stories. And I feel like that way, even if I don't finish it, hopefully I'll have finished a short story, so I won't be left with like a bit of a book left kind of thing. Hope that makes sense. Hope that works for y'all. I don't know. But I'm going to dive back into my book now. So I've got a little under an hour left. And I feel like I'm getting close to the end of Set the Record Straight. And it's been pretty adorable throughout. Like, I think perhaps we may have a confrontation. Not between the 2 characters, but between the character family. I don't know if that's going to happen. I feel like we might be moving towards that, but also the resolution might be, here's how we move forward without this conflict, which would also be really cute. Overall, really enjoying it. I think it's going to be a 5-star for me. And then, as I say, I'm just going to move on to Slade. I'm not expecting to get much of Slade read, but if I can finish one story, amazing. And we've officially reached the 24-hour mark. Excuse my kettle. She's very excited that Bee's going to be home very soon. Yeah, so we've reached 24 hours, with a little asterisk that I fell asleep in the middle. I do need to probably go to bed soon because regardless of the nap, sleep, whatever I had, I need to have like an actual good night's sleep. But I think I did not too badly. I'll be back in the morning with like some actual stats, but I think it's probably going to be around half of what I achieved when I did this, not as like a consecutive 24 hours. And I'd say overall there was nothing that was a real dud, but the only standout was Set the Record Straight, although I did really enjoy 'Tis the Season for Revenge. But like as I went through more books throughout the day, it just became more glaring that the balance of plot to spice was off in 'Tis the Season. I think the plot is worth it and the relationship between the characters is very engaging. I just wish it was dialed down just a hair. But yeah, I'm going to finish this short story I'm currently in the middle of in Slade, and then that'll be all my Christmas books finished. And I've literally got one more book in general to finish for the year, and then I want to rereads. But yeah, I'll see you in a few hours with some stats.
So I got to the end, not quite as successfully as I had planned, given that I fell asleep in the middle, but I got to the end of the video, and some quick wee stats. I finished 4 books, and I did manage to get a 5-star in the end. Set the Record Straight was a 5-star for me, and overall I read 800 pages over the 24-hour period. So if we extrapolate that, and if we work on the assumption that my focus level was the same throughout, if I hadn't fallen asleep, then I reckon I probably would have gotten about 1,200 pages read in the 24-hour period, which I don't think is super terrible. And also doesn't sound accurate because 400 pages in like 5.5 hours does not sound like me. But, maybe if I hadn't have fallen asleep, I still wouldn't have got much more read because I would have lost focus towards the end. I don't know. But I had a great time with it, and I look forward to reading more Christmas books in the future, which honestly is not something I thought I'd ever say. But I did have a genuinely good time with this experience. So I guess feel free to drop your favourite Christmas book rec in the comments, and maybe it'll be earlier than next December when I read more Christmas books, because this was a fab experience between this and my previous vlog. But until next time, thank you for watching. Love you. Bye.